Tales of America is the debut album from J.S. Ondara, who joins us here in San Francisco. Welcome back.
Yeah, happy to be here.
And we were joking off camera about the aesthetics here, and it's hard to miss the throne that you've been bequeathed.
Absolutely.
You are the young prince.
I am the young prince.
And you're dressed appropriately for this.
I suppose I am.
Yeah, and I'm here to interrogate you to see if you're fit to assume the kingdom.
I am.
Yes.
I promise. I will take good care of the monarchy.
Yes.
Yes.
And you'll make sure that people are schooled properly on good music.
Yes.
And get a good education, health care, and all these things that are prominent.
You know, come to think of it, I don't think I'm ready. You know, it feels like a heavy responsibility when you put it into context.
That's it. This interview is over.
It's over. You know, the prince.
You dressed the part, but there's no substance.
Yeah, the prince is dead. Here's a song about finding, about the troubles of finding an American woman that your mother might approve.
You've just released this album, and it talks about the highs and lows of the things going on that you're observing here in America.
Yeah, I've been in America for 6 years, not really a citizen, just a resident.
Just a resident?
Yeah.
Okay, green card.
Green card.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when you arrived, things somewhat more stable than it is over the past.
Safe to say things were different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? It's a different America than you romanticized growing up in Kenya.
Right.
I'm curious, what was the romantic picture of America as a young boy?
You know, I think the picture I had of America is the same picture that a lot of people who live outside of America and who dream of moving here have this idea of the land of milk and honey, where it's the promised land of sorts, in a way, where it's this place you can go and you can be absolutely free, do whatever you want, say whatever you want, make a living doing things you don't absolutely detest, and I think that is largely, I think, the image that America has spent a lot of time to cultivate, and that is how a lot of people view America outside of America, even with all the turmoil that currently is happening within the country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about pop culture-wise? I mean, obviously we'll talk about your music and the influences there, but I would imagine as a young boy, you turn on TV or the internet or whatever, right? There must have been things that you gravitated towards. Were there movies, were there television shows which you kind of looked at and sort of used as kind of the, not model, but kind of the image?
Yeah.
Like, wow, that looks amazing. Like, look at all those girls on Baywatch or those kind of things.
Totally. Oh yeah, absolutely. There was a lot of that. I mean, I think that's why I fell in love with this music from the US and from the UK at a young age, because I was hearing all these songs and I was feeling like, all these songs from rock bands from here, and I would feel like they were transporting me to just a completely different universe where people looked different, sounded different, and I loved that sort of spaceship journey of being transported somewhere completely different. So I guess music was a thing, films as well. I remember watching all episodes of 24 and just pausing every once in a while to look up words in my dictionary. Same thing with songs, listen to songs and and pausing like, I wonder what Tom York is saying there, or stuff like that. So I mean, I think the culture of America, of like the Western culture, was something I sort of started at a young age, feeding myself.
The album, Tales of America, themes about your perspective on America, and now there's all these socio-political issues and unrest and those kind of things.
Right.
How much of that did you try to balance in terms of your positive and kind of fend off the negative impressions?
Yeah. A lot, I'd say. I think I was trying to, I suppose, digest what my feelings are, about America. I was sort of wrestling with two sides of it, where I have all this love and gratitude for this country for offering me this grand opportunity to do something that I desperately wanted to do, and then the other side of that is just sort of watching things crumble and watching the turmoil as it happens, and having this sort of growing dissatisfaction with that. So I guess the wrestling of those feelings of just love and war, the push and pull, it's like a little romance in a way, was something I was trying to find some way to portray in the record.
Mm-hmm. Any particular songs that stand out in terms of, gosh, with all the political talk and the political unrest, and things were happening in Minneapolis, right? And there were things happening everywhere, obviously, but with a lot of the racism and the police brutality and those kind of things in recent years, right?
Yeah.
How much did that come up, or are there any particular songs in which reflect that?
I mean, I think there's songs like American Dream reflect that, songs like God Bless America reflect that in some ways. I think some of the songs end up being a portrait of what America is through my eyes, not necessarily just looking at it as an observer, questions of racism or stuff, police brutality or stuff like that, just observing and making those observations in the form of poetry, and not approaching it in the sense of I have a solution for all this. It's just this is what I'm seeing. It's just drawing a portrait of what I'm seeing from like a very sort of non-biased perspective, just as a watcher,
right.
As someone who's watching, because I think. Sometimes we do things subconsciously, and what art is supposed to do ideally is to be a mirror through which we can view ourselves as a society, as a culture, as a civilization, and once we see the things we do, we can hopefully make necessary changes.
Right.
Right.
Congratulations on this debut. You have a bright future ahead, and best of luck with everything.
Well, thank you. It's very kind.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.